Hey guys, welcome back to the land of books and movies. And guess what? Remember Sarah Connor's bad dream from Terminator 2 Judgment Day? You know, the one with fire and screaming and people reduced to ash in a matter of seconds? The one I put on my cinematic gut punch iceberg chart under wouldn't watch that again if you crazy glued my ass to the seat and cut my eyelids off, very bottom? Well, I found something even worse. In my morbid curiosity and gluttony for punishment, found a movie that tops that by leaps and bounds. It is Threads, the very realistic horror movie about life before and after a nuclear attack. So, Threads. I watched it so you don't have to. It takes place in Sheffield, England, centered around a young couple named Ruth and Jimmy, who just learned they have a baby on the way and are making plans to find a place, live together, get married, and raise their baby. Also, side center of this couple is a local government official who is getting ready to have the buck absolutely stop with him when the shit hits the fan. The movie has these timeline cards between scenes before and after. There's also scenes of protests, demonstrations, even riots. At one such demonstration, the lady with the bullhorn makes the unequivocal statement that Russia dropping a nuke on England will be ruling over a corpse of a country once the radioactive fallout destroys everyone and everything. And then the shit hits the fan. First, the EMP drops and all of the power lines and transformers burst, and there's no electricity to anything. Then the bomb drops, and the whole city lights up white. The mushroom cloud is visible to all, and it gets real for everyone. There is a noticeable time lapse between the mushroom cloud, the blinding white light, and the blast wave that sets literally everything on fire. Panic and devastation are everywhere, and all of Sheffield is a hellfire. To illustrate how final and devastating nuclear war is, the filmmakers of Threads pull no punches. This movie is a herder of feelings and a dire warning to not be complacent. We get to see the whole settlement of Sheffield reduced to rubble and burnt to ash. People stuck outside are burnt to ash and just hard like tarry flesh. Two especially harsh hits to our feelings are footage of this cat stuck outside writhing around in pain, which was actually achieved by getting this cat loaded up on catnip and playing its space out in reverse to make it look like it's suffocating. There's also this mother and baby seen before the bomb looking like every other mom and baby, and then after the nuclear fire, mom looks half burnt and shell shocked, and her baby looks totally burnt and dead. And we're by no means done yet. Fallout and radiation poisoning set in. And because this is a radioactive war zone, getting food and medical supplies in from the outside is slow and highly rationed. Riots are still happening, and it's police versus sick and dying civilians over food. Looting is happening, and it's kill or be killed. Hospitals are packed wall to wall, and there's next to nothing anyone can do without medical supplies. So, amputations done with hacksaws are the order of the day for the first time since the Dark Ages. At the center of it all, Ruth is still pregnant and Jimmy is gone. The timeline cards continue with more spaced out periods of time between scenes to demonstrate how much damage is ongoing. Supplies from the outside have dried up, and survivors doing all they can on a day to day basis just to not die. They catch and eat rats and try to grow their own grains. The ground soil is absolutely fucked, and there's nothing to fertilize it. There's no water. Fallout dust has blocked the sun, and nuclear winter has set in, which means people stuck out there are freezing their asses off, regardless of the season. And the best they can do is, a rat and a grain on a daily basis just to not die from one day to the next. And Ruth goes into labor alone. She delivers her healthy baby alone, has to snip the umbilical teeth with nothing but her choppers. And this is, in and of itself, kind of I don't want to say hollow victory. Yes, the baby's born healthy. That's wonderful. But look what it's born to. The next timeline card cuts to 10 months later, and Ruth's baby, whose name is Jane, is developing normally. Then we jump to 10 years to when nuclear winter has cleared, and now it's unfiltered UV rays beating down on what is left of Sheffield and who is left still alive there. Leukemia and cataracts are commonplace. Planting as much as possible and living on just a few grains a day is still the routine. And Ruth passes away from her long illnesses, with Jane by her side with only just baseline understanding. On the outside, she looks like a normal kid, but without a formal education system, she is a blank slate upstairs, and all she understands is her mother's name and that every day they work. The best they can do to teach children anything is some educational films that don't really make heads or tails of their regular life at this point in time. Now that Jane is on her own, she joins a small band of looters to survive and find food. Two of them are shot dead over a crust of bread, leaving Jane and the surviving boy to wrestle over it. The boy violates her in the process, and then we cut to 9 months later when Jane is in labor and begging for a place and for help delivering her baby. The baby is not shown on screen, but the look of horror on Jane's face suggests deformed and or stillborn. And that is the end of Threads. This was absolutely awful, and in being awful, it was brilliant. It absolutely did not play around with the absolute worst that life can dish out. I'm having a hard time recommending this for entertainment value because it is so bleak and disturbing. But for its educational value, sure, go for it. Just be ready for some imagery you can't unsee. As usual, thank you so much for joining me again. Please do all the requisite points and clicks to help me keep this channel going. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out my affiliates in the description. And as always, see you next book and movie.